there and back again. Ma ha ka wa ta he ta wa ka ha ma. There and back again. Do you see? Multi-dimensional beings are we. From the energy of the first light, through the calendar of the light of days, with the veil down, we were in a haze. 1 to 10 and back again. In the darkness we held each other tightly until the light came. The dragon blood, the Taki, the Akashic potentiality. At the speed of memory, we came there and back again. From the I am to the we are. We came far, there and back again.
Woohoo! Live on YouTube. How does it feel? Feels a bit weird. Got to be careful. Careful what you say on YouTube. They don't like me. Do you? YouTube, you do like me. I'm going to be a very good boy today, I think. How are you all? Let's have a look. Kate is awake. Thank you for being here, Kate. Always good to see you. You're the one with the spanner. Any naughty people on here, kick them off. When I say naughty, I mean, you know, arseholes that call me a fascist, those type of people. Because I'm not a fascist, am I? You decide. A poet that wants to heal people. White supremacist, apparently. Very, very strange. Who's saying wow? Wow. Kate, you're saying wow. Carol Schneider. Yes. Mark, God wins. Always love from Switzerland. Yes, God wins. This incredible book. Available only from theMarkAttwoodShow.com. Very expensive, but extremely good work. And I've said this before, but if I'm right, this is a collector's edition of the last 3 years. If I'm wrong, it's very expensive bog roll. So you decide whether you want to wipe your ass on George Bush's face or not. It's up to you. It's up to you. I think we've already done it. I know we've already done it. Been saying that for 3 years. It's like, see, time doesn't exist. It's a construct. Do you know what I'm saying? No, neither did my kids. They don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. But they bear with me, like most people do. Who else is here? Hello, Molly. Greetings from New Zealand. G'day. That's Australian. Sorry. What do you say in New Zealand? Do you say g'day? I don't know. I am planning to do a tour of Australia and New Zealand next year. Planning, not doing, planning. If you want to come, come. That'd be good. But if you do, make sure you're on my email list, which is in the description, hopefully, of this video. It's the first time I've been on YouTube in ages. I set this channel up after they took my last one down, just because I know. So basically, because my mum, they can't find you on Rumble. Rimble? What's that? Rumble.com. How do I do that? She can't do it from the telly. So I'm back on YouTube, Mum. I'm going to have to send you this link because you won't find this either. Kia ora for New Zealand. Okay. Thank you, Amazonian17. Very nice. Have to drive now, so we'll listen later. Thank you, Mark. Hello, Marty Robinson. Yeah, this will be syndicated, which is a posh word for somebody uploading it to Rumble. theMarkAttwoodShow.com, which is where everything is. Everything, all the censored stuff, everything. Where else? Bitchute, where I always get shit comments, but I never go there. Where else? Telegram and Twitter. Now, in terms of Telegram and Twitter, let me just show you. So Telegram is a really good place to keep up with me. This poster here that I just put up is for a live event that's going on in the town of Boyle in County Roscommon in Ireland on Sunday at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., which is a Live 5D Health live talk, our second one. Live5dhealth.com, if you don't know, is the website of the healing center that myself and Gary Keeley set up 4 or 5 months ago. And looks like we'll be setting up some more because we've got a few franchises coming in on the way. And if you're interested in a franchise in what I think is a way of potentially building a new health system, I mean, you know, maybe the RV will happen and the XRP will go through the roof and we won't need any of this, but I'm pragmatic. And today we have a way of doing this. And there's a link to the franchise opportunity on live5dhealth.com. So go and have a look at that. But this talk on Sunday, if you can make it, if you can't make it and you know anybody in Ireland that would benefit, it's free. You just turn up, 5 p.m, Daly's Drinks Bar, which is next to the Hyperbaric Oxygen Chamber Healing Centre in Boyle, Boyle. And we've got Ronan O'Brien talking about breath work, which I think is extraordinary. In fact, the best experience I ever had in terms of healing, one of the best, in terms of comparing it to like ayahuasca and stuff like that, was breath work with Rebecca Dennis in a forest about 5 years ago. And I met Ronan through his sister, Siobhan O'Brien. Hello, Siobhan, if you're watching. Siobhan's an amazing singer. Go and check her out she's been on my channel, but also go and check her out on YouTube. She's an amazing singer-songwriter and did an amazing song about Trump, I think about a year ago. Go and check her out. But Ronan's her equally incredible brother, and he's going to be teaching people live about breathwork, because breathing is a major issue. And when everybody's in a state of fear through you-know-what, and all the other you-know-whats throughout our entire lifetime, then breathing fully is an issue, and it's a great way to heal. So that's going to be good. Also, myself and Gary Keeley are going to be slapping each other. I'm looking around for the slapper. I've obviously misplaced it somewhere, but that's going to be very funny, but also very educational, because we learned about this slapping technique for me and Clark a couple of months ago. We've been trying to tell people about this for a while, and it drives people go, "Oh, that's crazy." It's brilliant, and we're going to do it live, which is going to be funny because Gary's like He-Man and I'm like a big pussy, and I'll be screaming a lot, so it'll be funny. But we've also got Jackie Manzoni, who is somebody I came across a couple of years ago, who she's been on my channel. You can find that on Rumble, Rumble, RUMBLE.com. How do you spell it? Oh, really? It's like being in an IT department with my mum. I'm only joking, Mum. I love you. That's Rumble. Yes, Jackie. She had deep root canal treatment about a decade ago. Nearly died because of the plug they put in, trapped the bacteria. Nearly poisoned her lymphatic. The whole body gets poisoned through that monstrous dental technique introduced by the Rockefellers. Was that a naughty word? I don't know. Anyway, she cured herself, and she started, people kept saying, "How did you cure yourself?" And then she started telling people, and then she started making the products. Her liposomal vitamin C is the best in the world. And go and find the Rumble or Mark Attwood Show, theMarkAttwoodShow.com. Find a video with her, because it's a very inspiring story. But if you want to meet her live, she's going to be there on Sunday with us at 8 o'clock. On my Telegram and Twitter, there's a coffee chat I did this morning about Joe Bumface. Did you see his bum face yesterday? The mask is failing again. Do you think that's on purpose? Do you think it's just a slip up? What do you think? I'm not even looking at the comments because I'm too busy looking at this. Be careful. Oh, they're all chatting amongst themselves. Obviously, I'm boring them, which is fine. I don't mind boring people because I have things to discuss. So got to find Telegram again. Here we go. Coffee chats. I like those little coffee chats. They're fun. But also, I've put a link to this. I also sent this out on my email list this morning. That video there is currently on 951.4 thousand views. I got told in January that this video would get 1 million views, and when that happens, something big would happen. I don't know if that's true. I do, but I don't, if you know what I mean. I don't want to be held accountable. Oh, it got to 1 million views, nothing happened. Mark, you twat. Yes, well, possibly not. It's not about me, it's about the message. I got told to make this message. It's all about compassion. We have to have compassion for our brothers and sisters. That's what that is about. Please go and share that on Twitter. Don't go, "I'm not on Twitter because I don't like either." I don't care. If you are on Twitter, go and do it. If you're not, go and set up an account and do it. Who cares? Platforms. Who cares? I'm on YouTube. So what? We use their weapons against them. We don't go, "I don't want to do it because it makes the death." I'm not interested. Anyway, that's enough chat from me. Have I got other things to tell you? Oh, my film, Where You Attwood, is going to come out soon, but I'm trying to work out a way of doing it in a way that it can't be censored on my website. So I'm waiting for Nick to finish all that, and then that will be available for a short time. And we're going to do a watch party, hopefully with Lewis Herms. And as many other people as I can get from the film as possible. Tom hopefully will come, and Janine maybe. Hopefully, I haven't asked any of them yet, but I will ask them soon. In the meantime, I know I'm talking a lot, and one of my guests hasn't got a long time, so I apologise for that, Anina, and I'm going to bring you on now. How are you doing?
Hey, Mark. I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for shifting things around to be here. I know it's a bit of a pain. I just decided at the last minute to go on YouTube because I haven't done a live on YouTube in ages, and I forgot I had a channel that I'd set up, and then I got locked out of it for 3 months. And now I'm back in it, so I thought, fuck it, let's go on YouTube.
You're back on YouTube. Yay!
Well, who knows how long for, but let's keep it YouTube friendly if we can. And completing the trifecta from South Africa, we've got the lovely Farrah Weir. Hi, Farrah. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you? Nice to see you again, Mark and Anina. We just the other day.
Farrah, it's been a long time.
It hasn't been that long. You're due to talking every day now, aren't you?
Yeah, we actually did a
thanks to you, Mark.
Thanks to you. But we also did a roundtable with AJ Roberts, which was quite fun.
Oh, cool! Excellent. Yeah. So, South Africa.
Yeah.
Firstly, I want to talk to Nina because I did a video the other week about psychic attacks and psychic protection. You emailed me and said you resonated with that because you were under attack. I get lots of emails from people saying the same thing. I had one from Gillian yesterday. She'd been under demonic attack the last few weeks. It's been very interesting in that respect. What's your perspective on that, Anina?
Yeah, gosh, it seems to be the dark forces are out and about. And they're gunning for the brightest lights, it seems. So, I'm not going to go into too much detail as to where it came from and how it came about, because that's just going to unleash some sort of shitstorm, essentially. But just to say that, some dark forces seem to have noticed me online because I was speaking to someone that they were just associated with, if you will. And they came for me, and it was, it's the first time I've experienced something like that. It was quite bad physically, went for my solar plexus. Thanks to Farrah, she really helped me through this and did a lot of healing and clearing up. And she saw even 3 dark portals opening up over Cape Town, which was quite astounding to me. But I've never felt like that, and I've never experienced that level of darkness and attack, to be honest. So it was really, really an eye-opener for me. And I, as I said to Farrah, I see everything as a learning experience. So I don't ever, regret anything happening. I see it as a learning. It's part of the growth. Maybe I was too lax. I didn't protect myself. Maybe I just became too kind of confident that it wouldn't happen to me. And here I am, it happened to me. But she helped me through it and came out much stronger on the other side. That's the thing with darkness. They just, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And so came out the other end for the better.
Well, that's very interesting because my whole channel has been about this since day one. And that's why I felt compelled, because everything I do is on intuition, everything, including all the people I've pissed off over the last 3 years. There's all intuition. I make no apologies, but I knew that I had to make a video about the protection the other week because I could feel it coming. And but do you know what? I found it quite weak compared to what I've had in the last 3 years, especially in 2020, 21. What do you think, Farrah? What's going on from a multi-dimensional healing perspective?
Yeah, guys. Well, it's as you're talking, like downloads are coming, and then I'm also thinking about stuff I've been through myself. But at the moment, the dark has always been hidden, but because the consciousness is rising on the planet, the shadow has to come up and out. So that's what we are witnessing. It's also definitely attacking those who are making waves and doing things. And the more you guys are putting out videos and getting information out, the more you are helping raise the consciousness of the planet. So of course you become a target for that. And this has always been with these planetary end times, this shift over. This is always how on any planet system, when it's coming to an end, there is always this eruption, this chaos that erupts, and the darkness that's operated behind the scenes is now coming, the shadows coming to light. So the more you become aware and do the spiritual work and protection, you actually start to build like a the crystalline grid around yourself, and so that's why, Mark, you will find, because you're no stranger to it, doesn't affect you as much. For Anina, it's the first time maybe you've experienced it on such a level. It will get you'll get stronger and more aware, and you actually naturally your DNA upgrades your actual energy eco field, what I call it. So I always say it's nothing to be scared of, and it's there's a flip side to everything. So it's always teaching us, basically. I don't want to. I can I don't want to talk too much.
Well, there's no light. There's no light without the dark, and the dark's there for us. And
yes,
that's something. It's taken me a long time to understand, but it's true. And it is just fear based. They're like, it's like a noise in a face or something. It's like, is that all you got? That's what I'm like.
Absolutely.
I've always been pretty confident and arrogant about it. You can't touch me. I'm like made of light. You can't come close to me. I've kind of had a bit of an attitude, if you will, around the darkness. But this one was just very unexpected. And I think, there was like a little crack. I was very busy that day to protect myself. And something, just a little crack came for me. And it just reminded me how important it is to protect yourself and what it can actually do. But, thanks to this soul tribe and this community that we have, we are there for one another, and we're going to look out for one another. So it just reminds me that the darkness doesn't actually have that much power after all. Our light is much brighter than the darkness can ever be. And it is, as you say, just that, airing of the dirty laundry. Everything has to be brought into the light now. There's nowhere to hide anymore. So we're going to see more and more of these things come to light. But the good thing is that we're seeing all the darkness kind of flip. So whatever they are throwing our way is like a boomerang, and it just shines much more light back to them every time they attempt something like this. We're seeing it with false flags as well. What happened with Maui. It just actually now is resulting in a massive awakening, because people are so aware now of there is something seriously wrong. And people are looking into things. It's leading to disclosure. The people of Maui are waking up, reawakening their ancient wisdoms are. So yeah, but can you guys see me? I was
just went a bit fuzzy there
for a second.
Internet connection.
a little bit fuzzy. That's okay. AI. What do I say? Oh yeah, fuck off. That's what I say to the AI. I knew it was a technical term. Yeah, I was just looking at you because you actually look like sisters. It's like you've got a blonde wig on and glasses, and you're bilocating at the same time. How are you doing that, Farrah?
Well, I think Nina's bloody gorgeous, so that's a compliment. Thanks.
You're both gorgeous. That's the point, and you're both talking South African, so it's very difficult to tell you apart. But it's interesting because you said about the soul tribe thing, and Anina, I know you've got a limited time today, right? Correct.
Yeah, I'm okay. I've tried to move my things around. Sorry, guys, it's just been a crazy week, but I'll be okay until the hour.
Cool. It's just that I've got some questions that I asked the Telegram audience to ask Farrah, and I'll come to those in a bit because I want to make the most of you while you're here. But there's a message here that I want to ask you both from Anna, who says hi from the Netherlands. Sunday, 11th of October. Surely that's in the past, Anna. There is a big live meditation for peace in the Netherlands. So not for a group, but for sending neutral peace. Now, I've talked about these meditations quite a lot of times. I'm not a fan of group meditations. And the reason for that is because I fell for all the Deepak Chopra, Oprah Winfrey bullshit years ago. And I used to sign up to their meditations and be part of these group meditations. And I just got a really bad vibe from those years ago. And all the way through the last 3 years, everybody that's been running group meditations, I've been going, like this, looking for my Joe bum chin while I'm doing it. See if we can do that. You see his bum chin yesterday? Anyway, what do you think? What do you think to group meditations?
Hilarious.
Did you hear the question?
I think
I'll let Farrah
Nina,
answer that, because I think, again, it can be a positive or negative. Farrah, you go for it.
So I actually have a membership where we get together and do new moon meditations, and I do Q&As.
Oh my God, do you? What?
Yeah. It really depends on the person who's holding the space, because they can be really, really powerful, and there is there's so much wisdom and generated of beautiful light that can come together when we work in a team. And that's actually what my membership was really about. Like we did recently, I took everyone through astral travel up to where my guide is in Cassiopeia, and we brought in like a really bliss frequency, and then we went under Israel to where the throat chakra is, and I had so many people just go, like, it was so powerful, and they felt so amazing about it. And I can do that work on my own, but the reason why I wanted to create a membership was to hold space for people going through their ascension journey, because I also do a bit of teaching, but to do that, because I can do it with like you and I, Mark, in a one-on-one session. I can do it with Anina. But when you have all these really pure souls coming together, and the person who's hosting the meditation, like if I'm taking people up, I'm checking everyone as I'm going. And again, we love to play in this world where this one's bad, that one's good, but it's actually a lot more complicated and multi-layered than that, because some people are unconsciously hijacked, or they're it's that the word that you used, fear. That's when entities can step in, or we have negative thoughts. So if you keep doing work on yourself, and you're self-reflective, and you're turning the lens inwards, and you don't have an ego like that, for me, Spirit always tells me the best thing I can do to help others is just to continue working on myself. So through my hard life experiences, like I'm a single mom, I have my own stuff that I've been through with being left to raise a child on my own, and I'm always getting told by Spirit, like, it's the way in which you view it, and the gratitude that you come from. And we all know there's 100 or infinite truths to any one situation, but the lens that we choose to view it from is going to be what determines our energy field, our holographic reality. And I'll get into that a little bit later around what people can do right with what's going on the planet right now. But I'm very passionate about it, because I do think group meditations can be amazing, but you've got to use your discernment around who you are joining workshops, meditations, and that kind of thing with, for sure.
What do you think, Anina?
Yeah, I think Farrah's right. It can be hijacked, and we have to be careful of that, because it can actually be used for bad. So the person leading the meditation and facilitating it, and like Farrah said, checking it is very important. And then you able to check participants, so that there's nothing that can sort of creep in or leak in or try and hijack what we're trying to do. But I do think, it's like lighting a fire. If you have enough candles coming together, the light can be amplified into a bonfire, instead of just one little candle on its own, or two candles. So it's really about the intention. I agree. I also have come to realize it's much more complex than good, bad, dark, light. There's a lot of things in between, and I agree, a lot of people have been hijacked without their knowledge. So to go and say, oh, they're a bad person, maybe is being very
it's very limited.
Well,
Very
you've got
limited, a little bit childish, because it's much more multi-layered.
Yeah, you've got Lynn McTaggart, for example, doing the consciousness experiments with the I can't remember what she called them now. The Field. Her book was called The Field. Anyway, and that was extremely positive, and it was done in a kind of scientific way to prove that peace. We affect consciousness on a group level. And I think the reason I say avoid group meditations like the plague is simply because my message has always been that you are the guru that you're looking for. But some people do need help on the way, and everything's a test for you anyway. So it's all discernment on a personal level. So don't listen to me either, because that's what I say to my kids when I drop them off. Do you know what I say to my kids when I drop them off at school? Do you want to know?
Yeah, definitely.
I say, have a nice day in prison.
I say the same.
That's the first thing. The second thing I say is, remember, everything they're teaching you in here, you're going to have to unlearn. And I've got all the books whenever you're ready, along those lines. And the third thing is, question everything, including this.
Yes. Beautiful.
which is
So you're right.
it actually works on my kids. As they're getting older, I'm starting to realize, some of this did go in over the years, which is great.
Well, you're absolutely right. I always end my emails off as you are the gift you've been waiting for. And that's even now, if I'm doing a client one session, a healing session, I'm not sitting there and waving a wand and healing you. I'm training you or helping you. I don't even like the word master, training, teacher, because it's all a little bit separated and one's here and one's there. But some people have been trained in their gifts, and everyone's got a specific piece of the puzzle and a gift to bring. And sometimes you need a bit of help, so it's just rising a ladder of consciousness, and you can get there a bit quicker through working with someone that resonates with you. And there is power in working in collective and in teams. It's not about partnership, it's about collaboration.
Everything's about collaboration, and that's the time we're in. A lot of people are asking questions in the chat about what's so special about the 22nd, apart from it being 2-2. What do you guys have any insights into why there's a lot of people doing energy work on the 22nd? Do you know why?
I haven't actually downloaded any information around it. It hasn't come into my field. As I'm talking, so I can download while I'm talking, I'm getting that it's a very pinnacle planetary alignment date in terms of stargates that are being opened, but that's in between the two eclipses now. So we have peaks, like troughs, it ebbs and flows. Obviously it's no surprise what's happening in the world at the moment to hijack that stargate. So I'm just getting the 22nd is a portal date between the two eclipses.
Yeah. And Farrah and I actually are doing an in-person group meditation here in Cape Town, in Hart Bay, at the back of Table Mountain, where our wellness sanctuary is. So we are actually going to do a meditation on Sunday in person for those that are in Cape Town. But we're aiming to go live on YouTube as well, so we can just connect more people in. Yeah, I do see the value. I definitely see the value in group meditation. As I said, when we come together and we can create that grid of light collectively, it becomes very powerful. So it's all about the intention and who's leading it and holding that container. Because, if random people just, it depends on what you're looking to achieve. If you are looking to achieve something for the planet, then coming together and meditating and focusing on the same thing at the same time in the same environment or across the world, definitely I think can be powerful.
So powerful.
But
we can't hear you, Mark.
We can't hear you.
I just said I didn't mean to talk over you, and I realized I was muted. I'm not talking over anybody. No wonder. Anyway, yeah, Abby. At the same time you said that, Anina, or I can't remember, Farrah, about Abby said it's a portal day. Thanks, Abby. Hello, Abby. Welcome back from your travels. We're going to talk soon, Abby. We're going to talk soon, Abby, because me and Abby are writing a book together called Weapons of Mass. Should I tell them, Abby? Yeah, fuck it. Weapons of Mass Protection.
Love it.
Yeah, which we've done the outline. We're going to finish it off soon. Thanks, Abby. My sound is back on.
Maybe when I'm finished my book, Mark, maybe I must just hand it over to you, because I think you're well versed in knowing how to handle these things.
Actually, Abby as well. Abby is a great editor, right?
No, she's a great editor, publisher, writer, the whole lot.
Oh, wow.
Abby's book.
Abby, let's connect. I've got a book, Infinite Intelligence Through the Looking Glass. I've got to just finish it.
Look, Abby
yeah,
wrote
we'll do a round table with Abby.
Abby wrote these 3 in an afternoon. That's how.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
She is.
Oh, love to meet her.
Well, I'll connect you. Transformation. In fact, Abby, do you want to come on? I'll send you the link. I'll send her the link. She loves coming on. I don't know. Maybe she's not. Maybe Have you done your hair? Anyway, Abby's amazing. Yeah, I'll bring her on because you guys should all say hello to each other, because I didn't realize you hadn't. It's because I had 6 months doing shows. Let me just find the link.
I've had Abby on a few times, but Farrah definitely needs to meet Abby. She is a gem. Beautiful soul.
Love to meet her.
She's yeah, come on, spit it out, Farrah. There's dead space.
I've got such a cool buddy / client, good friend, Morgan from Holland, love him to death. He sends me a message now. Have a blast watching the live with Mark. He's just divine, beautiful soul.
From Holland?
Yeah, from Holland.
Ah, well, look, why are you mentioning that?
He is opening. I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Well, look, I would.
It's also a healing thing. You guys should connect. I should connect you with Morgan.
Well, I'm talking to somebody about going and doing a gig in the Netherlands because I love Holland, and I think I found a venue. So yeah.
I'll connect you with Morgan. He's super connected, transformational coach. He's just an incredible man.
Well, I want to do the Mark Attwood show live in Holland, preferably Amsterdam, with Dutch truthers. If there's anybody out there that is watching this that is up for helping me put that together with an awake venue, with an awake venue owner, because that's the problem. Let me know. That'd be great because I want an excuse to take my son to Amsterdam, basically.
I also want to start traveling.
And then South Africa.
Yeah, we said to AJ, he also wants to come to South Africa. So I said, we have to do a retreat. We get all these people. We do a game, like on a game farm. And we invite people around the world. And we do like Nina's husband can do Qigong. I can do group healings. We can do group astral travel. We can have Diane the astrologer. Like we can bring all these cool people together and we just heal ourselves and do healing on Gaia as well, because that's just what we all here to do, actually. So we got to heal ourselves, and then in doing that, we heal the world.
It's all about the healing, baby.
It's all about the healing. I've also
I think that's a great idea.
Abby, I've just sent you a link on WhatsApp.
I've got to go fetch my daughter from school. I've got to leave in about 40 minutes. Just letting you know.
14?
No, 40.
40.
Oh,
40,
God,
yeah.
we're going to last that long. Right, so let's just do a few of these questions from Telegram this morning because people put the effort into writing them. Have you read those? I sent you the link, Farrah.
I did. Yeah, I did. I would love to discuss what's currently going on in the world because I think it's very important, and obviously providing some answers on how people can support and go through this experience while keeping their field and energy high is very important because it's a very hard dance to ask people to do that. So addressing what's happening in Israel, because I did send out in August, I got the message from Spirit that September was the seed point for. Are we gonna? Oh, you pulled it up.
I'm just showing people the questions while you're chatting.
Yeah, so August was this. I was told in August something big was coming for humanity. The seed point starting in September, so I didn't know if it would be September, October, November. And I kind of put that information out to my mailing list and in emails and on my little membership and my little YouTube channel, which has got like, I think 380 followers. So,
subscribe to Farrah's YouTube channel, guys. Subscribe. It's a little button. It's a red button. It says subscribe.
So I'll just try and keep this as I don't want to hog too much talking time.
I'll just bring Abby in while you're doing that so we can see it, and then you can say hello first. Hi, Abby.
Hi,
Farrah,
Mark.
Abby.
How are you?
This is
Hi,
like,
Nina.
like spiritual dating.
Abby!
I'm a one-man fucking dating expert. Spiritual people.
Nice to meet you, Farrah.
How are you, Abby?
So lovely to meet you, Abby. I'm so impressed by your incredible books that you've put together so quickly.
That's history. I just got the French translation of one of my books. Just received it when I came back from America. So it's incredible.
C'est très bon.
Très bon. So, but guys, I'm really excited to share with you that I have a printer who can do print on demand that isn't Amazon that we can now use through our own websites. So we can take this conversation offline if you want, so we can talk about how
Hang on,
you
I'm
can sell
a
your own
publisher.
book
You're
directly.
going to put me out of business. What are you doing?
No, Mark, you too. We can do God Wins. I'm really excited
I love it
because he said he'd print anything.
when
I
you
didn't
say
tell
God,
him about the C
when you say-
word.
when you say Godwin's like that, it makes it sound like a furniture retailer from the 1920s. Welcome to Godwin's, where you can get this sensational
Godwins.
settee.
You get free sofas. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
Abby, we'll come back to you on that. But Farrah was about to answer some of the stuff about downloads that she's had. Is that okay? Now you've had a hello. Now you've had a little hello.
Yes,
Yeah, is
yes,
that all right?
all good. All good.
All right, go on, Farrah.
Okay. I'm just chatting about what's going on in Israel and what I was shown around what's going on in the world currently and where we're going. So I'm going to, sometimes these things take time to explain. I'm going to try and do it in the simplest form, because there's so many multiple levels and layers to what's currently happening on our planet. And we spoke about earlier, the dark is coming up and out. We all know that Israel's the throat chakra, or Jerusalem is the throat chakra of our planet. So that obviously represents truth. So it's interesting, and there's always a flip side to the coin, and the coin, it goes on infinitely. So you can imagine truth, and when a dark attack happens, it's the same. What I was shown around Maui, it actually was the seed point for, from one perspective, rebirth, because fire is transformational, for the awakening the seeds within the DNA of the people there for Lemuria. But we're going not into Lemuria, into a new type of Lemuria. It'll be very different, but the consciousness. So what Spirit showed me first thing when Israel happened was it's actually about America. But so this is the long-term goal. Defund America through throwing or taking, I don't know, can I say all this stuff on YouTube? Go for it.
No, don't lose this channel. I just started it.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
Talking code.
Actually,
Okay.
surprisingly,
That
YouTube
instead
has
of
been
that,
very lenient.
Let's call it something else.
I found YouTube to be the best.
Let's
Okay,
call it jelly tots instead of because jelly tots was saved till last, according
Instead
to
of what?
God, do I have to
They're
explain what
sweeties. Sweeties talking in sweeties.
But what does the sweeties represent?
the country that's saved till
Oh.
last. Come on, keep up with the program.
Okay, so jelly tots is this is really about jelly tots, because it's like a person. So let's call it
Random.
Toodaloo. Let's call it Toodaloo. When Toodaloo is throwing all of its energy outside of itself to countries like Ubane instead of the other one, and we're going to use I've already said the word Israel. So when you are throwing all your resources, money, your weaponry outside of a person, that person is then distracted in terms of it makes it weak because everything's outside of itself. So I do see a timeline, and the timelines are interesting because for it to be at 99.9% set, you have to have every single timeline has to have the same. I was explaining this the other day. A singularity point through all timelines. This is why it's very hard to predict. So you have 80% this timeline, and then under that 80%, you'd have multiple timelines of how you get to that singularity point. But all the timelines that are currently playing out need to end up in that singularity point. That's why I don't say it's 100% set, but I do see an attack coming into Tulu, which is not to incite fear, because I'm going to explain to people about how you create. We're going to see Armageddon timeline and Heaven on Earth bliss timeline literally playing outside next to each other. So this is this war represents a war within self, because of the shadow that we represent within ourselves. We know what's happening with the manipulation. I don't have to go into how the news is manipulating to put people against each other. Like even my mom is really angry with me for saying that I'm on the side of humanity, because already people have been programmed to see that little strip area as terroristic people. It's been coming through media programming, 9/11 and all of these things. So when you dehumanize people in the name of whatever it is you want to punt, you can then get people to buy into that. So you're actually calling this is how the dark works. They get our buy-in, people unconscious, and then they put unconscious men and women, wounded, unconscious, through bloodlines, through this lifetime trauma. They get them to do their bidding, so that there are a group of sometimes of fanatical people who do really not nice things. But we have to take a step back and really understand. And I always say this to people: we have to know the truth, not so we sucked into it, and not so we are devastated over it. We have to know it so we can transmute it. We can see it. We can see through the veil of illusion. And then we can also bring through. So they said to me before we did the show that when you raise your vibration, so when you have thoughts, emotions, action, and heart coherence, which is literally sparking out of your heart, which is creating your timeline, bringing it in, your holographic reality, it's all sparking. What happens is they use the word hydrolyzed. I don't even know what
hydrolyzed.
you hydrolyze for others. So you basically okay, so I had a dream where I was witnessing a bunch of like this big field where there were all these fire drums, but a huge field with groups of like 3 or 4 people with black sort of capes over them, and they were burning stuff, and the smoke was creating a skull, and then all of those skulls came together to create a big face in the sky. Okay, I know exactly what that face looks like, and I knew that I was witnessing a ceremony happening in different places around the world at the same time. When they explained to me the technology they use and why they use bones, and it has to do with ions and nanotechnology. I'm not going to go into that now. For the reversion, because you have to reverse everything for natural creation, because naturally the highest timeline wants to pull in. Naturally, and under natural law, God's law, the best outcome always wants to come. So we know we're in a hijacked matrix system. So what I saw in that dream, what I really wanted to get to is the timeline with all of these things, like what's happening in the Middle East at the moment and what's happening, what is to come in Toodaloo. It's all to usher in the one world, that Antichrist type of energetic that many people are aware of. Okay, I don't know how many words. Am I good with my words here?
Just use code. If anything pops in your head that sounds naughty, just use some code. Make it funny. Come on, you got to keep laughing.
Okay.
Because the new world arseholes ain't happening.
No, but what? So when I was asking Spirit today, it will look like it's happening. This is the illusion. Well, no, this is the thing. This is what I got the message, and this is why the message had been coming through since August. And I was trying to ask you, can we chat about this? Is the message to me was explain to people, teach people how to keep their coherence by taking responsibility for their holographic reality. We are bringing in new earth by individually raising our consciousness. So healing ourselves is the only thing you can do. But what it does is it sends out like a sine wave, so it transmutes within the area around you. That's where the hydrolyzed came in. I know I've got my babies too. So I'm trying to explain to people it could look like doomsday, or and I've said this over and over again, you could have your neighbors going through this Armageddon experience while you're in heaven on earth, 5D. Those timelines will run alongside each other for a while. But if you can see through the illusion, because it's through the fear that they're inside, that people will call for it. People are going to call it in. So the more we speak about this and we get this out, the more we shift that timeline of what they're trying to pull in, because their technology doesn't work like it used to, because the consciousness in the planet is different. And I said in my email, we're going into 2022.0. But it's very different. Not even the dark knows how, if they can't be certain about the work that they're doing to try and pull in these timelines, because it's kind of like, we'll see what happens, because we can't control the consciousness like we used to. So you have to be brave and step out if people like myself are getting this information to put it out there, because then people are aware and already in that it shifts. I'll stop now. Sorry, I wasn't funny enough, Mark.
That's good. You should be sorry. Work
very
harder.
Serious stuff. Yeah, I feel very.
There's been so many different predictions.
Oh, it's all too serious. My job is to keep it light, but it's all good. Between us, we've got it.
I do. I'm a very passionate about what I do.
I needed the comedy today, Mark. So thank you.
I got a lot of downloads too, Farrah, and it's in alignment with what you're saying. And I experienced on the 23rd of September last, it was like a parallel collapse, where certain parallel timelines that were no longer going to be available, it's like the energy drained out from them and they all collapsed into this one. But I do believe that there still are many timelines, many parallels running at the moment. And that if we show up to this meditation on the 22nd as individuals and empower that with light, the more light we bring in, the more darkness will be revealed, which is what's happening. So when we're creating a master timeline, when all of these parallels are shifting into what you're saying, what did you call it? A point? What was that?
Singularity point?
Singularity point. So we could call that the master timeline. that we all
This
want.
is why, absolutely, and this is why every single really good, authentic channel or medium says this. That's why when Mark was saying time doesn't exist, New Earth is coming, because every singularity point out of every timeline ends in that point. But how we get there, how far it comes, and that's what the dark's doing. They're just trying to delay. So they're very clever. They're very clever with knowing how to put people against each other. They've put these things in place for a long time. Separation through religion, race, gender. But that singularity point, we all want to bring that singularity or that timeline closer, right? We don't want the dark.
They also hijack the term singularity, because that's the terminology that's been used for the transhumanist agenda for the last 30 years as well. So they could see ahead. They could see this terminology. They hijacked all of it. And I keep getting asked, about people that are pulling these things together. And it's, in terms of mass meditations, going back to that, I mentioned Oprah and Deepak earlier because they're bad people as far as I'm concerned. I knew that a long time ago, before this time. And but that's my opinion. And it all comes back to the same thing, because it's all your personal journey. So the idea, Abby, of turning up as an individual, yeah, that's all right. I like that. Do that, but do whatever you want. Well, I think the key thing I'm trying to say is don't latch onto anybody like they're God, because you're God. That's
no one is above anyone else.
Yeah.
No one, but there are some people who are more activated in their gifts. So not if some people are still learning how to work with their gifts or work with their activation in their DNA. Because remember, it's just points of consciousness. So it depends how long someone has been on a consciousness and awakening journey. And that's what I say to my clients when I'm doing one-on-one healing sessions. I'm like, I'm not any better than you. I've just trained for a long time in this. So.
That's the point. And, I came here to try and lighten everything, because I've been at this for millions of years. So I just didn't realize it. And the big issue that we've got is that you've got tens, if not hundreds of thousands of channels and mediums across the world that are healers. And some of them have been placed there to distract you, because it's your personal, I'm talking to the audience, it's your personal journey. That's what we have to remember. It's your personal journey, and you're the only thing that ever existed anyway. So it's all good, basically. And you should go and join Anina and Farrah. Where are you? Where's the live thing that you're doing?
It's going to be in Half Bay in Cape Town.
In Cape Town, yeah. And that'll be on which YouTube channel?
I think on mine. I'm still trying to work out StreamYard, but yeah. So just check out my channel and Farrah's channel.
How do they find your channel, Anina? What's it called?
It's Vivid Earth. So if you search for it, it's Vivid Earth _5D.
Okay.
Second channel. First one got booted off. And Farrah's is just Farrah Weir, right?
It's a badge of honor.
Badge of honor. Love it.
Well, it is.
I know. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I'm just finding these for everybody. So
yeah, it's like lots of different radio stations, and they're all blasting different music all the time. And some of it's horrific, like the wars and all these different agendas, and some of it's beautiful. And we just have to keep pouring out the beautiful music, and then people will start to hear and discern between what they're listening to and start to choose the ones that they like to hear better. And then there'll just be a world filled with beautiful music. That's what I would like to see anyway. So we all have to keep talking. We all have to keep putting out the good content.
Yes,
including weapons of mass protection. I've told them already, Abby. I've already told them.
I know, that's okay. Well, that means we have to do it now.
Yeah, that's what I've told them. I'm giving myself a deadline.
Excellent.
I love it. That was a great analogy, Abby. I really love that. It's beautiful.
Well, I mean, frequency is a tone, and the purer your tone. And that's what I'm loving about what's happening at the moment, is that the clearest and most strongest energy right now is authenticity. And that's coming up time and time again. And you can tell much more clearer now who's authentic and who isn't. It's like the strength of your note, if it's discordant, if you're keeping secrets or not. And likes authenticity, people are getting together, they're gathering together because they feel good around those people who are authentic. And that's the music that we're creating together as a collective. And as we all come together, it's different notes, it's different sounds. Different healers have different frequencies, but they're attracting in authentic people at those levels anyway. And it's all needed, it's all required, and it's so beautiful to watch. It's actually a real honor you know, to be alive right now and to watch these people coming together and waking up and having fun and taking the piss like Mark does. It's kind of fun doing that too.
I think it's super important to have fun. Like I actually did a little video around it. I was like, return to innocence. Like, what did your kid love to do? You know, be silly, dance on a table, whatever it is you want to do.
Dance naked on a table, Farrah. Get it right.
Yeah, well, I'm really good at that. So
my kid didn't like doing that. I never liked being naked, Mark.
Get all the bouncy bits out. That's what I say.
I used to love to swim naked with my daughter when there was a storm in Cape Town. We would go wild women of the South, and we would just strip naked and jump in the pool and pretend we were mermaids.
I'd have paid good money to be there, but I used to freak my kids out because we had a pool in Morocco, and I just jumped in naked, and they were like, "Dada, oh God!"
Oh no.
Trying to teach them to be free is not the easiest thing in the world. Anina, what you tell us some more about your work for the viewers that haven't seen you, because I'm really glad I got you two together. It's nice, bit of matchmaking, and then now I've got Abby and Farrah together. I got Abby and Janine and Honey C. Golden. She just went to Canada and America and everything, and had a great trip. We'll come back to that. Anina, what's going on in terms of South Africa? In terms of your work, I know you've done lots of live events. Now you're doing healing work with Farrah, which is great. What else is happening down there? Pregnant pause.
Guys, it's freezing on my side. I don't know if that question was for me, but is it only me that's freezing? My side.
It is.
My Wi-Fi.
It's just you.
Was that question for me? I didn't quite hear it. It was like.
Well, I can't repeat it. It was too long. Let's go to Abby and talk about Canada and America. How was your trip? You went and met Honey C. Golden and Janine. You've had a great time. You've been busy.
It's taken a long time actually for processing what we done when we connected, and I met Zuriel, who people know from the Ascension Project A to Z, but there's no longer an A to Z. There's just a Z now, which is really interesting. And so I wanted to meet her in person. So the three of us together, there was a lot of activations, a lot of energy work. And we went to California to the Redwood Forest. Wow. And you've met John, who's Honey's husband. And there was this one moment where we were in a forest, me and Honey and Z were doing stuff. And John comes out of the undergrowth like Mr. Burns in that episode of The Simpsons, glowing and saying, "I love you. Everything is love." Do you remember that episode? Anyway, he comes out and he's glowing and he says, "There's a tree in here that wants to talk to you."
What? John said that?
John said that.
Wow.
So we followed John to this tree, and 2.5 hours later, we were still there. We just stepped out of time. The tree was just incredible. So we then were sick the next day, processing the energy from that. So I think it was about us cementing relationships, creating deeper foundations. I mean, when Honey and I went to visit Janine, and everyone was like, take videos, make a video, tell us, give us an update. But we were just talking for 3 days. So I think it's really important for people to know we need to format our relationships to forge those strengths together so that we can come on and then offer things to people and be stronger together in the way that we do it. So it was just really incredible. And the difference between America and Canada was something to experience, and being with Honey for so long was wonderful. And we're making plans to do a retreat in Ireland next year. So you're invited. Everyone's invited. And then she wants me to come back and we'll do one over in the States. So it's exciting where we're going. I really feel, everything Farrah was saying is coming up. I mean, seriously, the light is really turning on, and we can see the darkness in the room, and that's what it is. And we have to decide not to engage with it. And that's what we were all in agreement with. So, yeah.
So it's I was thinking about it because I said to Spirit when I was channeling, I said, well, it's very easy for me to sit here and teach people when I'm not getting bombed. You're going to create your reality, your holographic reality through your thoughts, emotions, actions, and heart coherence. And I go into the mechanics of that, the quantum mechanics of that. And Spirit said to me, so what would you do if you were being bombed? And I was like, sure, well, I would have a natural reaction of stress. Like, you can't help that. But I know that I would follow my guidance team, because when you're that connected, you will always be guided and leaded to where you need to go. And you will always be provided safety. It's like I didn't have an income for 3 years, and I managed to keep a roof over my kids' heads. How? Because I'm a single mom. I have no idea, but I did. I created that magic and those miracles through that surrendered space of really being connected to my high self. And that's something I really want people to go, you know what, no matter what's coming to, because we've got stuff coming, guys. We can't put our head in the sand and say stuff is not coming. It's going to get louder. I can promise that.
It's getting louder and louder and louder. On that,
yeah.
On
so
that
how do we leave
subject.
people with that? Sorry, Mark.
No, you carry on.
No, but how do when we say that it's getting louder and there are real things happening, like real physical things happening in the world, how do we leave people with inspiration and the feeling that it's going to be okay when they do the work, and that they can trust and really step into that trust? Because that's like mastership, to go, sure.
Well, I can answer that with my own personal experiences, because I went as low as you could go, to the point of suicide, and I had to surrender and I had to listen. And unfortunately, that seems to be the only way you can do this stuff. There's no quick fix. Nobody's going to wave a wand. You have to go through the work yourself, and then you have to deal with all the stuff that comes up, and you have to face the consequences of everything. And then you get to the point where you realize you're the master creator anyway. And then you start focusing on that and clearing the vessel and understanding about your manifesting abilities, because I think that's what all of this is about, because we're all manifesting everything that we're seeing in front of us right now. And we can flip it, and we are flipping it. It's already flipping, because we're already taking action about building the world that we want to see. That's why I've opened the Healing Center. That's why I published this book. That's why I've made a light-hearted film about the tour in America. That's why I've done 2,000 hours of free content for the last 3 and a bit years. And by the way, talking about manifesting stuff, I just want to point this out to guys that are watching this live, because for the first time ever, I've made it possible. If you see that little dollar button down there in the chat and you want to contribute, and I'm all ears. You don't have to. It's still free content, but if you appreciate it and you've got a bit of money, that's great. Because I've personally lost many tens of thousands in the last couple of years, more than that actually, just by helping people out and producing content and doing all of this stuff. So any help would be gratefully received. And that's also an abundance mindset thing, which we're teaching. Well, Gary Keeley is doing most of the teaching in the crypto course that we're doing. The links underneath every video I've produced the last 3 months, except this one, because I haven't put all of those links in. But when you start, I keep getting emails from people saying, there's a wonderful email I got the other day from Denmark. I think it was Denmark, saying, literally my life has been saved, and I get tens of thousands of these from people that are realizing that carnivore is a great way to live, that actually you can control your own banking, you don't need to be inside the system, that you can set up a private members association instead of a limited company, that you can actually take control of your thoughts and stand in your power and use natural common law, and all of these other things that we've all been learning collectively are just brilliant to see. And when you're watching people in protest being arrested by the police, people allegedly being bombed, and dying and everything, and dropping dead myocarditis on the football pitch, it's all part of all of our own personal journey. And I've said since the beginning, trying to keep light-hearted in the middle of a genocide isn't the easiest thing in the world, but it is something that we've all got the ability to do, whatever your circumstances.
Yeah. So
very, very
that's very.
It is true, and we have a huge fear of death.
I don't.
And I think that we can look at that and talk about it more, and to realize that death isn't the end, and that might help as well. The
And
attachment that we have to being here.
It's a transition death, but a lot of people aren't there yet. So we also have to hold that compassion for the level of consciousness that people are at, or in this. This is why I'm saying it's about self. So everything we're seeing play out is the war that's raging within self, and it's about alchemical union within self. That's the ascension path, the journey that we each individually doing, but we're co-creating together.
I like the simplicity of how John Lennon put it. Do you know what he said about death?
No.
I leave a space to see if you got an answer. That's why I leave the space. It's also for comedic value. Death is like getting out of one car and getting into another.
It's true. It's a good metaphor.
Good. That was John Lennon. It wasn't me. You could be a bit nicer than that.
I'm not. Yeah, I see
I love
everyone.
winding you up. I'm sorry, Farrah. It's just the way I'm made. Carry on.
Anina, Mark was asking what you've been up to, and I know, are you still freezing? Okay,
I can hear you guys now. My connection is horrid.
Yeah, it's too.
Can you
That's why I had
guys
to
hear
move
me?
on. Yeah, it's
sort
not
of
good.
in and out.
Yeah, I'm just going
Anina,
through you guys can just raise your hand if you can't hear me anymore, because I won't even know if you can't hear me anymore. The connection is so spotty and I don't know what's going on. Somebody's not liking me being online here. But anyway.
Well,
Can
we're
you
glad
guys
you're
hear
here,
me?
but it's not really good enough to do the chat. But we are glad you're here.
So Adina and I actually, well, we sort of collaborated on I hosted a course. Mark, I think you put it on your group. We didn't have a lot of people, but it was really cool. It was a 3-hour workshop on me teaching how to connect to your higher self, which is something I also think is, for those people who are not a little bit unsure, such a powerful thing to do, because you, like you said, you know, you're your own God, you're your own creator. People struggle with trusting themselves because there's been so much programming telling us from when we're little, you know, that you're making it all up in your head and you're crazy, but it's not true. So that's what I can share around what Anina and I collaborated on. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know if she's going to be able to come back onto chat. I think we might have lost her.
The connection's really bad there. We'll just keep her lovely face there for now, in case it comes back.
Pop back up. Abby, it's interesting. My little boy's name is Zion, and we just call him Baby Z. So when you were talking about Z, I was just like, ping, 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 ping. I was like, if there's some kind of signature resonance there, because we just call him Z Boy.
There is. Well, there's a collective called the Z's, and I don't know if you know Lee Harris, but he channels the Z's as well. And so Z claims that she's of that collective too, which is really interesting. Some of the things.
I put out the Z's when I go to sleep.
Love it.
I could, yeah, pretty loud ones, I'd imagine too.
What?
But I think the more, you know, as we're all waking up more. I think there's people who thought they were awake are actually realizing they weren't either.
No, there's more levels and levels and levels.
There's much more levels, and we're in this month now of October where the veils are incredibly thin, and there's a lot. I mean, it's basically there are no veils. So it's all about intention. So you can sit with your intention and ask, you know, anyone who's watching this, how do I tune into the nicer frequencies? How do I tune, you know, if we're talking about music, what music am I listening to? Can I have a better awareness of that so I can turn off some of those stations and tune into the other ones that are better so we can all lift, you know, or what is my highest and best timeline and what needs to go from this one so I can rise up into that one? And for people to actively, I mean, that's what you're saying, Mark, when you're talking about being the master manifestor, but you have to do it in an active, aware way where you are saying, okay, I'm not just going to let life happen to me. I'm going to take a role in my life. I want to choose my best and highest timeline. What do I have to let go of?
Precisely.
I don't know what it is. Show me. So you open up and you have that trust and you let the energy show you by you having an argument with someone, by something going wrong in your life. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but that's what you have to work through. It really doesn't look pretty.
Yeah, it's so sorry. I get so excited, Abby, because I teach this to people. I'm like, sorry, Mark. Anina asked if you can let her back in. I teach to people. I'm like, when you're in the shit, the hard times, that's where all the gifts are. That's where all my growth. It's like a diamond under pressure, because everything is showing up in your reality to show you where to up level. But humans love to throw everything outside of them and go, well, I'm the victim and it's that person's fault and it's my circumstance fault. And I'm like, I do have a lot of compassion for hardship, because this is a really hard earth experience. We are bridging this physical third density up way past all of these 5, 6, 7 people want to call them, because within dimensions there's dimensions within dimensions, and we just have to give like a construct to it for our minds to understand it. But it's not easy to bridge that higher aspect of yourself, so your higher self, your future version of yourself.
Hang on, you just said it's not easy.
No, it's tough work.
That's a belief.
Yeah, that's a belief.
That's a belief.
Okay.
But if you shift it to
I'm
being
talking
easy,
about. I don't find it difficult. I'm finding it. I know I can see people find it very difficult because.
Well, I think what's difficult is catching yourself when you're in the conditioning, which is what Mark just did, catching that conditioning, because
Yeah.
it's the conditioning that makes you feel that you're small. It's the conditioning that makes you feel that you have to fit in. Nobody has to fit in. Everyone has to become their true selves, which means not fitting in, which is, something we're not used to. But once you start doing it, it becomes really fun.
I'm
and
pretty
really
used to.
easy.
I'm pretty used to not fitting in my jeans.
Well,
Why
after
is
my
it
trip to America, I'm kind of used to that at the moment.
Why is it all spiritual people have put on weight? Like, I don't know. I've
Because
also
we're
gained-
carrying everybody's shit. That's why.
Yeah, we're releasing
that's
that
also
conditioning that
a
we need to do that.
I when I work at pulling programs and belief systems out of people's bodies, because I'm always talking about how that creates the sine wave. So everyone has their own unique signature, like their own sine wave. And I always say each person is a piece of the puzzle. So like Abby, your voice holds a specific key code frequency and signature. Mine does, Mark does. They're not all supposed to look the same. That's why some people can thrive on meat and other people need to be vegan. There is no one box fits everybody.
I don't agree with that. Don't agree with
We'll
that.
argue about that later. What's really
Let's have a big
interesting
fight.
though, Farrah, I don't know if you've noticed this, but let's say on this timeline, we would have done certain work on ourselves. And then when those parallels collapsed, aspects of ourselves that hadn't done that work came and merged with us. And then I found that I was coming up with things that I'd already worked on. So it was like those aspects of me had to release that conditioning that I'd already released. So it could feel like a setback. So I think when you're asking why are spiritual people putting on weight, it's the weight of all of the other aspects of us coming in and merging with us here. It's psychic weight as well as physical weight. And
totally. I've done so much. I've asked Spirit a lot about it but I'm more in love with myself, my body, and who I am, being the biggest I've ever been now, because I was at war with myself as a youngster through all that conditioning and programming about what it means to be beautiful, and also that my value came from what I look like. That's very much in the female collective energy on our planet, and I've had to dispel all of those things in myself. Even now through this eclipse portal, I've had the abandonment wound come up for me, and I'm like, oh, it's so cool because I can just observe it.
yes.
So I know how to move emotions out the body as a coil without bypassing it. And I'm just everything, even in my dreams, I'm just like the neutral observer, and I'm like, okay, so you're still holding this, okay, so Spirit, where do I let go of this? And we're taking action, but it needs to be aligned action, so we're not forcing anything, we're just organically moving, because we are I had a thing driving this morning about the artificial and the organic, and those two timelines that are running, because I call it Luciferic AI consciousness, which is the dark structure, and then we've got our organic intelligence, which is God source structure. So we have these two things running concurrently, and we're going to see it. So you're going to create it through aligned action, through heart coherence within your personal reality, which affects. It's like that candle coming on, like Anina was saying. And the amazing thing is that it's not like we're going to wake up and just arrive. I'm always looking inwards. Where can I work on myself so I can be better to others?
I have to bring in Joy Mays just left a good point that I was going to bring up, actually. She says, I have lost 2.5 stone. I'm doing something wrong. Help. No, you're not, Joy. What's happening there, I think, is what I was about to butt in with, which is that, for example, last Saturday morning, I had a past life healing that was mind-blowing, because in that past life, I was in a wheelchair, I'd been in an accident, and I gave up. And as I was going through that past life, I could feel all of it, and I dissolved it. And since then, I've lost 0.5 stone this week alone. So, taking on the weight is one thing, but you can also release it and move through it. And of course,
for me personally, I was asking because when I stopped breastfeeding my son, I gained a lot of weight, but I also went through this breakup, and I've gone through quite a lot of
that's stress, isn't it?
Trauma. But what Spirit showed me was they took me straight back to when I was a child, and they showed me how certain female members in my family, I was too much. I was too much energy for them.
We've all got that in common.
Yeah, so they used to get irritated with me, and then a spirit was saying to me, but what happens when you're not feeling seen and heard, like in your relationship that I've just come out of now, when I was dealing with someone who just refused to see me and hear me, you just take up more physical space because that's your body's reaction to it. And like, there's so many layers to things, because I think, Abby, what you're saying is 100% true, and then I'll have my own little unique thing
But
around
you know
it.
what it comes down to now is when you're talking about beauty, right? And there's that meme that goes around that says, who knew we'd be in a timeline where Roseanne Barr was more beautiful than Madonna? You've seen that one, because people
my meme was better. I said, who knew we'd be in a timeline where we're in a war with men in dresses?
But that's the thing, their beauty's not shining through, is it? The men in the dresses, it's the beauty,
not exactly,
the light of the soul is what people is attracted to. And if you're focusing on that as your beauty and not as your weight, and you stop caring so much about the weight, then the weight isn't a thing anymore. You're not putting your psychic weight into your physical weight and making it solid, because you've stopped berating yourself. You start putting heavy, you surrender to it. You start putting the anger into your body, and you're not holding that. Then your body feels able to let it go when it's the time. And if it's not the time, then you just be with yourself as you are, and work with the energy. That's kind of how I see it now.
Absolutely. And the flip side of that, Abby, which is so cool, is that when you get to that surrendered space, you realize that what you were struggling with was actually for you, because again, it's all for you, because it brings you to another level of surrender, another level and layer of love for yourself. And the theme for my membership this month was, can you fall in love with yourself the way you love a lover, or the way you love a child? And I was like, ooh. And my mom, she got so triggered. She was like, well, Jesus loves me, so I don't need to love myself that way. And I was like, cool, Mom. So why is it triggering you? I was like, this is a beautiful theme for me to explore. And it all came through when I was dealing with my membership around what's happening in the world. I'm like, if there's ever a time to like really love yourself, like, what does that mean? To see yourself and love yourself the way a lover would like adores you, to give that to yourself. We don't often do that for ourselves. And what does that actually mean to embody that? So that's like a little part of my own personal journey at the moment. But it does definitely raise your frequency and your bliss codes, because you're not in any separation with yourself. You can see your ego aspects, and you can objectively look at the traumas that you're holding, or the belief systems, or the programs that you're holding, but you're not at war with yourself, because you're integration.
That's interesting, because I did an overarching, I don't have a copy of my diary at hand, but I have a new diary for 2024, which I saw you just ordered yesterday. Thank you, Mark.
I ordered it to test the ordering system. I'm going to put a link up to it in my Telegram after this chat and under the videos, and we'll do a show about the diary as well.
You're a star. But I did an overarching theme for the whole year for next year of self-love, because this is coming out. But I see self-love as loving the aspects of you, so your inner child. So when I went to America, you're going to laugh at this, Mark, I used to go to America every other year when I was growing up, and it was always about the sweeties and about the food, and so she got very excited, my inner child, we're in America and there's all this food and everything. So I said, calm down. It took me a day to calm her down, and I said to my inner child, we'll try all the things. So calm down, we'll try out. So I got all the things, took one bite out of them, this is shit. Why do I still want this? This is terrible. Because everything is that high fructose corn syrup over there, and it's just not the same as when I was little.
It's changed. I mean, I was in America like you 35 years ago, and I was in every fucking fast food. I couldn't believe it. And this time I went last year, and I was like, Mark, don't do it. Don't do it. I literally starved myself, and I actually lost weight in America last year because we were just in gas stations. It's like the petrol stations here. There's just nothing good to eat, and the fructose syrup compared to 30 years ago is through the roof. So,
I said, my brother's like, oh, you have to get me the peanut butter M&Ms. And I'm like, okay. And I got some for my kids and tried them. And it's like, why? They're horrible. It's just, so loving aspects of yourself can be easier for people than looking in the mirror and loving themselves who they are now. And it's always chunking it down and working with it in smaller bits and pieces is, thanks for sharing. That's great. But
I'll check it out. I will also check it out, Abby. Guys, I've got to go fetch my daughter from school. It takes me like 15 minutes to drive there, and she's done in 5 minutes. So I really have to run. I wish we didn't. Abby, I could chat to you all day. You beautiful
Well,
soul.
we should definitely get in touch and do some more stuff together.
Don't
Absolutely.
do a
love
show
to do
together.
that.
You don't need me. You're interrupting you.
Oh, but
I
you're
need
fun.
you.
You bring the fun crazy element. It's always good.
Give my love to Z and your daughter. Thanks for coming on. We couldn't get Anina back on because she wasn't in the studio. But if you're watching this,
But
Anina,
yeah, thank you so much for hosting us, Abby. I'm so grateful I got to connect with your beautiful soul today. Mark, always love you so much. It's always such a fun treat connecting with you. And guys, rock on.
cheers, Farrah. See ya.
Bye guys. Bye
Take
bye
care.
bye.
Have a lovely day.
I'm gonna log out now. I'm gonna try and do that quickly.
That's right. It's easy. I just click this button. Look at that. Gone. I always feel guilty about removed from studio. Oh, okay. Feels wrong. Listen, we gotta do a show about the book and your
Well, I
diary.
haven't even talked to you since I got back from America.
Oh no, we
for
can't do
a
it publicly. Let's go and have a chat on WhatsApp. Thanks for popping on last minute.
I
I
know.
think an hour and 15 is long enough for any podcast, but great to see you looking well. And thanks everybody for watching. First YouTube live in a million years. It's amazing. I love it. I miss these.
Bye.
Left a space for Abby. She just said bye. All right.
I'm
see
just
you
saying
guys.
bye. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.